Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about Pass Labs audio gear. Specifically amplification I'll focus on. Why would someone want to invest in and acquire Pass Labs amplification? I'm going to give you 5 reasons why you would and a couple of the cons that go along with it. So let's get started. So number one, right off the bat, the number one reason you may want to invest in Pass Labs is the reliability and service. Now, these amps are bulletproof. They last almost forever. They can last a lifetime, so they are very reliable. It's very rare that you hear of a person having an issue with a Pass Labs amplifier. I mean, I'm sure it happens. Electronics are electronics. They can fail. But Pass Labs is known for their extreme reliability. There's actually amps that come into the Pass Service Center that are having their first checkup after 20 years, right? Some of those first watt amps from back in the day, they're just now getting recapped. So Pass Labs amps are very reliable and their customer service is second to none. You can test that by emailing them. They will get back to you. If you have a problem with a product you purchased, they will get back to you. Their service and their customer appreciation and their reliability, they take pride in what they do. They make an amazing product. So the reliability is top notch. I've had amps in here that cost more. One recently that had a failure, a much more expensive amp. And I was bummed out by that. I've had cheaper amps that came in DOA. Never had a problem with any of the Pass Labs gear that I had through my listening space. The reliability is top notch. If you search the internet, you will find pretty much what I'm telling you here, that Pass Labs rarely even needs a checkup. So reliability and their customer service is the number one reason someone might want to invest in Pass Labs for their audio system. Number 2. If you live in the United States of America, you might like the fact that Pass Labs gear is made right here in the United States. I always try my best to support our local economy, and I live here in the United States, and I like the fact that Pass Labs is made right here in California. Nelson Pass, the genius behind these amplifiers, has been creating amplifiers for a long time, and he really knows what he's doing. But being here made in the U.S.A. is really cool, because usually you buy a made in the United States product, and some of these made in the U.S. HiFi products are double the cost of what Pass Labs is charging for their amplifiers or their integrated amplifiers. You're getting that top-notch build quality, and it's made right here in the United States. So if you purchase an amplifier, a Pass Labs amplifier, you are supporting a business right here in the United States. I kind of like that. So I'm not one of those guys who has to buy only U.S.A. I have amps here from China, Switzerland, the U.K., everywhere. But it's really cool knowing that I can buy a quality amplifier that's not as high priced as some of these stratospheric brands right here, made right here in the United States. So that's the second pro for Pass Labs. The third reason you might want to consider Pass Labs is the sound signature. That's what we all are in this for at the end of the day. It's fun to build systems. It's a hobby. It's fun to hear other things. But at the end of the day, we all want that ultimate sound quality in our system. And Pass Labs amplification, at least the Class A, like I'll talk about the XA60.8s, they are ethereal. They are slightly warm, yet they're also transparent. They kind of reach out and give you a big, soft hug, right? And the music can float in space. It has all of those attributes, all while leaning warm and organic. It has a human touch to it. It touches my heart and soul, and the bass is rather amazing. After comparing these amps to other amps, all kinds of amps, the Pass Labs bass is just present and deep and real, right? It's not the tightest, quickest bass in these Class A amps, but it offers something different. It offers a tangible, real, solid, sit in your seat, feel the vibration kind of bass. It doesn't get boomy or out of control. My speakers are very well controlled. But Pass Labs sound is magical, holographic, three-dimensional, while not being uber detailed. It's not the most detailed amp, but it has just enough detail to suck you into that presentation. So sound quality is the number 3 reason someone might want to get into Pass Labs. And while we all have different tastes, some of us like fast, energetic, dynamic amps. Some of us like dead neutral amps. Some of us like warm, ooey gooey, syrupy amps. The Pass Labs is more neutral with a slight lean to the warm side. It's never offensive, yet it's never boring unless you made it with a really warm speaker or a really warm preamp, really warm cables. Then it could be too much of a good thing. You're going to want to pair something like a Class A Pass Labs 60.8 or the 30.8, for example, with a more neutral set of speakers or a more neutral preamp. For example, in my system right now, I'm running the 60.8s with the Fleetwood DeVilles. The DeVilles run a little bit warm. So I have the Nagra Classic preamp running preamp duties, and it sounds amazing. So it balanced out and synergized the system perfectly. But you can't fault the sound of a Pass Labs amplifier. They are simply glorious. Number 4, the build and the design and those lovely seductive blue meters. When I'm sitting in my room at night and I look down at the floor at each side and I see those monoblocks, they just give me a nice feeling inside. And we don't really buy amps for the looks, but do you want to spend $15,000 on a set of amps that are ugly and just in a plain black box? Maybe, if you want to be understated or hide the amps. But these are meant to be put out. They are meant to be looked at. They are meant to be admired. Those lovely blue meters have such an amazing even glow, and they just look seductive at night, and the warmth of it all kind of adds to the pride of ownership. The front of these amps are absolutely gorgeous with that metal and that the silver and the black ring and the blue light. It just pops out at you. So those blue meters, I talked to a guy who bought a 30.8 and he loves it. And I said, well, what made you pull the trigger on it? He said, well, I like the sound, but I love the look of that meter. So, you know, there you go. Looks do matter just as much as sound to some people. So the number 5 reason that someone may want to invest in Pass Labs amps for their audio system is these are truly endgame amplifiers. These are amplifiers that will last you probably the rest of your life with minimal maintenance and minimal care. Turn it on, turn it off. That's all you have to worry about. These things are stable. They sound glorious, they look glorious, and they are reliable as all get out, as we've already talked about. So these are really end game amplifiers, and while they don't cost $100,000 or $50,000 or $30,000, these XA 60-point amps, I feel, are a bargain for what you get for the money. Because if you spend a lot of money on something and you're happy with it and you keep it for 20 years, it's definitely worth it. So these are truly, they can be end-game amps if you want an end-game amp. You know, that's tricky in this audiophile world where a lot of us always want to try different things. But I'll tell you, when I moved those Pass Labs out of my room and I was listening to different amplifiers, you know, I wasn't really missing them until I heard them again. And I was like, whoa, there it is. There's that magical sound that I remember so well, that sound that connects with me emotionally and touches my heart. That just the sound, it's hard to describe, you know, in videos and in writing what something sounds like in the audio world, but they are just magical. So these are endgame amps. If you invest your money in them and you like it and you love it, and you're not the type to switch out gear every month, they can last you your lifetime. All right, so the 5 reasons why you might want Pass Labs. What about reasons you might not want a Pass Labs? And I'll be specific here, a Pass Labs Class A amp, because I really find no faults with their Class AB designs, or no cons, I should say. But the Class A amps, there are some things that you should know about before you go into buying them. First of all, they are heavy. The XA 60.8s are back-breaking. I moved them from my listening room to our guest house. I used a dolly. When I moved them back the other day, I carried them by myself, lifted them up by the handles. They have handles on the back, and I carried them to the main house. But by the time I was done, my back was killing me. I was out of breath, and I told Debbie, man, I am out of shape. My heart was pounding. They are heavy and really meant to be carried around by 2 people. So weight, if weight is an issue, and size, they're rather large, you might not want to get into a big set of Class A monoblocks. But Pass makes smaller amps. The XA25 is fantastic, and it's smaller, and it's lighter, and it's still wonderful. Another con is with these big Class A monoblocks. And I'm only talking if you're going into the Class A monoblocks from Pass Labs. They will run up your electricity bill if you use them a lot. I'd say if you left them powered on 24/7 for an entire month, your electric bill might go up $60, $70, maybe even $80, depending on where you live. Now, I only turn them on when I am going to listen, and then I turn them off because of that reason, right? So my electric bill, I think, in a month when I'm listening to the Pass Labs Class A amps, the XA60.8s, I think it's averaging about $15 more a month. So is that worth it to you to have that sound? It is to me. So that's not too bad, but I wouldn't leave them powered on 24/7, which leads me to the other con. The final con is the heat. These things get hot. Pass Labs Class A monoblocks will get really hot the longer they are on. Now, in my listening room, it was really originally started out as a sunroom, closed in, it's all wood. I have the window coverings, they're thick, and that keeps the reflections away. But in that room, I am not hooked up to the central air or heat from the house. It has a little heater and a wall window AC. In the summer, those amps were getting so hot. I was sweating like crazy in that room, and it's only a 13 by 18 room. But I had to turn on the air, but then that's too loud for me to critically listen when I review. So they were a little hot in the summertime, and my solution to that is to have another amp that's less expensive and runs cool, maybe a Class AB amp, to run on the hot days or the hot summer months, and that way you don't have to worry about the heat. In the wintertime, they don't really heat the room. I still have to put my heater on, but they do add a little warmth to the room in the winter. But these amps do run hot, make no mistake. So Pass Labs amps, they're quality. They're made in the U.S.A. They last forever. Some of the Class A's can get big, heavy, and hot, yes, and they could run up your electric bill. But for me, that trade-off is worth it because of the longevity of the product, the history of the company, the genius that is Nelson Pass, who designs these amplifiers and has been doing so for a long time. They're just an amazing, wonderful product, one you can be happy to invest in, one that holds its value as well. I forgot to mention that. Pass Labs holds their value really well. If you bought a set of used amps, because you're not sure if you're going to like them, you'd be able to turn around and sell them really at no loss, as long as you don't overpay, right? So they have tremendous resale value and longevity, and they're designed by, a legend in the hi-fi world, Nelson Pass. So those are my reasons why someone would want to get into Pass Labs amplification. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll have more videos soon. I'm working on a review of a new set of gear that came in, all tube, a streamer, DAC, and amp, made in the USA as well, but way less expensive than what I've been talking about recently. So stay tuned for that. I also have a Wise DAC 501 review coming, as well as some other surprises. So if you want to see those, make sure you thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.